So today's focus is the consumerization of IT. And it's interesting because the consumerization of IT sort of relates very closely to this whole world of desktop virtualization, because we use a lot of desktop virtualization technologies when we sort of want to deal with the consumerization of IT. But what's also interesting is if you actually Google for consumerization of IT, there's not that much stuff out there yet. I mean, the first one is consumerization from Wikipedia. So consumerization of IT, the term, is not even a top hit in Google when you fucking search for consumerization of IT. Now we get to some other things. There's some blog. I've gone through the first few pages here. There's not good stuff out there on the consumerization of IT. If you look at books, if you go to Amazon and try and search for the consumerization of IT, the first one is some podcast from 1999 about it. The second one is some HTML digital. I mean, it's crap, right? So this whole concept of the consumerization of IT, for all those Gartner talks about, it's going to be the biggest IT trend in the next 10 years and all that kind of stuff. Who's talking about it? So I guess that's where we come in. Now, my view on the consumerization of IT is a little bit different than a lot of people's views. A lot of people, when you tell them about, okay, we're talking about consumerization of IT, they'll mention BYOC, right? This is bring your own computer. Some people call it BYOPC, bring your own PC, BYOIT, bring your own IT. And people sort of equate this BYOC term with consumerization of IT. I'll tell you right now, these are not the same thing. Consumerization of IT and BYOC are not the same thing. I mean, let's be honest. BYOC is a proxy name for I want to use a Mac at work. And hey, but my applications run Windows, and how do we make that happen? And we're going to make the cool kids work for us because we have Macs. The thing is with this, so BYOC, if you want to allow employees to bring their own computer to work, we know how to solve that. We have technology for that, We have client virtual machines, we have application publishing, we have, user virtualization and app virtualization. We can do that. We know how to solve that. Frankly, the O in BYOPC, when we say bring your own computer, for a lot of companies, that doesn't even literally mean you have to buy your own computer, right? It's not like you go to PC World and literally bring your own computer in the company. Maybe it's still a company-issued computer, and it's just the users are allowed to be administrators and do whatever they want on it. Which, frankly, by the way, there's a lot of companies out there that say, we will never allow BYOPC in our environment, never allowed. And I say, are your users local admins on their laptops? And if you answer yes, guess what? You're doing it now. I don't care if the asset tag has your company name on it and not the username. If they're admins, you're doing it. Sometimes people say, we will never allow our employees to access critical company resources from non-asset tag devices. Does that sound like, the companies will say, never will be allowed to do it? And I say, their users connect from home? Oh yeah, the VPN, the two-factor, the Citrix, whatever. Well, guess what? You're doing it. Home access PC, BYOC, it's the same thing. My point for saying this is BYOC. If you just want employees to pick whatever laptop they want, or you want to empower them to install whatever applications they want on their machines, there's technology to do that. And that's kind of like all the classic desktop virtualization technology, secure ID, web VPNs, application publishing, VDI. We don't need to talk about the impact of consumerization if it's just about users using whatever laptop they want. Not that that's not a hard problem, right? But my point is that's a problem. We've been dealing with it for a lot of years. It's solvable. Let's move on. The next thing when people talk about, okay, the consumerization of IT. The next example people give is it's because the Apple has the latest whatever it is, right? It was the iPhone, which I know you kind of say over my dead body, well, we support iPhones in our company, until the executive walked in and said, right, here you go, I'm going out for lunch. When you get back, I expect it to be hooking up to my email. And before you can say, we don't, and guess what? You hooked up to Exchange, it's synchronized nicely, and now the executive has it.